Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is the second part of my decade build series. If you haven't seen the first one, I'm going to provide a link in the corner. You can check that out if you haven't seen it already. But basically the idea of this series is to explore the different build styles that were popular in each decade, both for the more wealthy and for the less wealthy. So yeah, so today is going to be a farmhouse in the 1890s. Also, I just noticed that some of the video is cut off, so I apologize for that. That hasn't happened to me since one of my first videos that I uploaded, but my recorder that I use, it was probably like off-center or something, so sorry about that. Nothing is really cut off, just the stuff in the UI on the bottom though, so pay no mind to anything that's missing on the bottom. But yeah, so I'm gonna just talk about a few little, like, I don't know, facts about the era and just about the time. So this is kind of what an inside of the house looks like. This is kind of what the outside looks like of a typical farmhouse. So that's what I was going for, and I really wanted to include like a barn of some sort, like for horses. And it was actually hilarious to me because when I put in the family to make the machinima that is at the end, the little girl, I guess, when I wasn't looking, she came in here and grabbed one of the horses and was just walking through the house with it. And because what I did was I sized up the horses that are like a toy, like a kid's toy, and I just sized them up so they would be horses because we don't have pets in the game yet. I say yet because I just saw today, because well, this is going to be recorded, this is going to be uploaded a few days from now. I'm pre-recording. But anyways, today, Toddlers was released. And I don't know. I'm pretty shook right now. But anyway, so I guess in the code, there's something going on about pets, and I'm extremely excited. So maybe I can put real horses in here. But yeah, so I'm just building the barn and putting some farm equipment in here as well as some clutter items because I figured, this is where the family would store things that they need on the farm as well as just in their home or, just whatever. And at this time, I had a snow mod in. So if you want to download this, like if you're doing the decade challenge, make sure that you have your mods box checked so you can see lots that do have custom content. I don't think I have anything other than the snow mod for this. I can't remember, but if I do, it's gonna be okay. Because all you need is, regular items to make it work. So in the 1890s, they actually had a wood fire stove, and they didn't have gas until I think the 30s, or yeah, I think, well, maybe the late 20s, 30s, something like that. And so I wanted to put a fireplace in almost every room because they didn't have any heating. They just had fireplaces to keep them warm. And I liked the idea of having candles and lanterns everywhere because I felt like this family maybe can't afford gas lights, because gas lights were a thing at this time, but many people who didn't have a lot of money had to make do with candles and lanterns and things like that. So that's what I was thinking when doing this house. I wanted to make sure I kept that in mind because this isn't a wealthy family, you know? They're a farmer family, and yeah, so that's what I was going for. And here I'm just doing the dining area. I didn't want to put a lot of decor items, you know, just keeping in mind as well that they're not very wealthy, so they wouldn't have all the lavish artwork and statues and decor items that a wealthier family in this time would have. So this room next to the kitchen is the oldest son's room. So we'll get to see that in a second. I don't think that they had running water either, but in order to make the gameplay work, I needed to put in a sink. Wealthier families did have running water, especially toilets, and I think sinks as well, but for the less wealthy family, I made sure to put an outhouse behind the house because they didn't have toilets inside the house. Wealthier families did, though. So some interesting facts about farm life in the 1800s. Most buildings on the farm, they had a stable and they had a corn crib, which is where ears of corn are dried for animal feed. And they had a separate little house where ice was cut from like the ponds so they can use it to refrigerate their food in the kitchen. And then there was also blacksmithing and needlework and cooking and cleaning. And in the summer, they would make ice cream and butter. And in the autumn, they would do cider press, so like apple cider. And in the winter, the kids would usually go on sleigh rides through the fields of the farm. So that's really cool. They were very seasonally minded because they had to be for their crops. Usually there would be a front parlor where the mom of the family or the matriarch of the family would receive guests, and they would just kind of hang out before having dinner, or, you know, just if they had company over. So that's kind of the idea of the living room. Here I'm putting in the like plots of land to put in the garden. I thought about having the outhouse kind of attached to the house, but then it wouldn't really be accurate because it's part of the house. It's not really an outhouse. So I just kind of separated it to make sure that it was definitely an outhouse. But yeah, so usually they would have like a parlor in the front of the house, and in the back of the house they would have another sitting area for the men who would, I think it was called like a cigar room, gentleman room. But yeah, basically just like the back parlor where the men would be. In this house, I didn't include 2 sitting areas because I wanted to make sure that this house could still be affordable, and I didn't want to go too crazy. I wanted it to be simple and understated. This was pretty simple as well. I have a little room that has a bathroom, so just the bath, and I think that's it. Maybe a sink. I don't remember if I put one in or not. The little girl's room and then the master bedroom. So we're doing the master bedroom. It's honestly a pretty simple build compared to the last one, the Queen Anne Victorian house. So it was kind of fun though, just to kind of minimize and think about this time period with the family in mind. Oh yeah, I did put a sink in here, but normally I don't think that a family like this would have running water, but we can just pretend that they saved a lot of money and got a sink. I just love this flower wallpaper for a little girl's room in this time period. I think it's perfect, and I like the idea of having just simple toys because in this time, kids weren't really thought of as kids. They were thought of as like miniature adults, and they were expected to be like full-grown adults by 16. Like, you know, nowadays, if you're 16, you're pretty much still a kid and you're enjoying life and all this other stuff. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And they weren't really thought of as kids until the early 1900s, because that's when people started putting in laws for child labor, and there was a new market to make toys for kids. So yeah, but that's pretty much the build. It's pretty simple. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you in the next part. Bye.